That's right.
With your hosts, Andrew Romanella.
The first problem is with the owner of the Carolina Panthers. Okay, you're an idiot. Seriously, you're an idiot. I don't think I'm good enough in this mental health, so I can't continue. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on 12OZSports.com, broadcast live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I am Andrew Romanella, and I gotta tell you, there must have been some truth spoken on The Rome Show weeks and weeks and weeks ago, because when I'm listening to my own intro, I'm hitting my buttons over here, I'm DJing the intro of the show, and I hit a sounder that goes like this. Nope, wait, a sounder that goes like this. The first problem is with the owner of the Carolina Panthers, okay? You're an idiot.
You are.
Seriously, you're an idiot. And I'm laughing to myself because when the Carolina Panthers fired Frank Reich in the middle of the 2023 NFL season, I'm not against the firing of Frank Reich. I'm not saying that Frank Reich needed to stay as the ball coach, but I read some statistics off that day about what has gone on in Carolina since that owner has taken over. And at the end of the day, I guess that's now 4 or 5 months later since Frank Reich has been fired, the Carolina Panthers haven't gotten any better. And they started to make some deals over the weekend, over the beginning of the week. And they sent a defensive end, Brian Burns, to the New York Football Giants. Now, I don't come up on the Rome Show and start to pretend like I know every single player in the National Football League. I don't know every single player in the National Football League. But what I do know is numbers usually don't lie. And the numbers definitely don't lie on this dude. And the Giants got a really good player. So the story, though, the reason, though, that I'm starting with that is not because we're talking about Brian Burns with the Giants, who they're now signing to a $150 million deal to shore up that offensive line. But it's more about the indictment on the Panthers. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. So a bonus straight off the Rome today comes from country music singer Luke Combs. That's right. Country music singer Luke Combs got in on the action yesterday about the stupidity of the Carolina Panthers ownership and what they are doing with this ball club. This is what Luke Combs had to say on Twitter, X, whatever, on Monday. Here it is. What are we doing? In big caps, bunch of exclamation points and question marks. No first round picks for McCaffrey a few years back, and now none for Burns, okay? Are we just firebombing the whole team here or what? I usually don't comment on these kinds of things, but it's just becoming slow torture at this point, okay? Now, if you look at the trade, all right, the New York Giants gave the Carolina Panthers a second and a 5th round pick for Brian Burns, who was a 1st round pick when he came into the league. The deal is 5 years, $150 million. $87.5 million will be guaranteed for Brian Burns. And the idea there, obviously, is we got to shore up this defensive line. And in 5 seasons with the Carolina Panthers, Brian Burns has 46 sacks. And in 2023 is coming off the most sacks of his career at 12.5. So, Luke Combs, I don't know what to tell you, man. I do love your music. And in this scenario, I love your take on the Carolina Panthers, because I had the same one 5 months ago and probably every football fan and every Carolina Panther fan probably had the same a year ago when we all felt like the 49ers fleeced Christian McCaffrey, the Panthers for Christian McCaffrey. So it's an exciting time right now in the National Football League for most. But for some, it's the harsh reality. It's the harsh reality that your GM might suck. Your team might be pretty stupid. You might not be as close to winning a Super Bowl as you think, right? And then when you read these stories like Patrick Mahomes restructures his deal to free up $21.5 million for the Chiefs, or Josh Allen restructures his deal to free up $16.75 million for the Buffalo Billitos, right? You read those stories and you're like, all right, like that's good stuff. That team is operating at a high level, right? They already have a high-level quarterback. They're already having success, and their best players like willing to give money back so the whole team can get better. Whereas the rest of us, like the Bears and the Panthers, gosh, I think the Dolphins sometimes. I even felt like before this Burns trade, the Giants were feeling that way. I bet Jets fans feel that way. Definitely Los Angeles Chargers fans, where as you watch free agency happen every year, you're like, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, and it never happens. And I think Luke Combs is speaking right now for the vast majority of Carolina Panthers fans over the course of the last 18 months. This is a waste. Why am I going to be a fan of this team? Because it does not feel like anything at all is getting any better for that team. We actually have a wideworldshop.com athlete who's a big-time Carolina Panthers fan and a Division II baseball player. So we'll have to reach out to William and get his take on the Carolina Panthers. I need you to take a second later and head to wideworldshop.com. That's wideworldshop.com. You can use the promo code 12OZ Sports. That's the number 12 OZ Sports at checkout. And I got my Be Electric hoodie on right now, and I have my Be Electric coffee mug sitting in front of me. We also have the You Got This line phone cases too. I don't know why I haven't shown that. There's the Be Electric phone case right there, and I am one of the worst people at dropping my phone or losing my phone or just the phone being in a location that it shouldn't be in anymore, but it is in, okay? So I said, you know what? I want to be a walking billboard for my own business. So let's go get an electric phone case. And I got to tell you, besides the fact that it's two-tone, it's like green and black right now, these marks on it are the true character of this phone case. I am still using this thing on the front side without insane amounts of lines and cracks and squiggles because this phone case has saved me. So do yourself a favor and save your own pockets. You head to wideworldshop.com, promo code 12OZ Sports, and you can get yourself a Be Electric or a You Got This phone case. Without further ado, now, you might have thought we were straight off the Rome, but we weren't. Now we are straight off the Rome. All right, so I've been hearing a lot of disgruntledness regarding what is going on in the National Football League with running backs, okay? And the primary, disgruntled fan base right now is most likely the New York Football Giants and Saquon Barkley, okay? So for those that do not know what has gone on since the start of free agency, Saquon Barkley has since signed with the rival Philadelphia Eagles for 3 years, $37.5 million, and he's getting $26 million guaranteed, okay? Here's the thing. I have a few thought processes here that I think people need to understand, okay? And the first one is not related to the Giants, not related to the Eagles, not related to Saquon Barkley. The fact of the matter is, when you are playing in the National Football League, you are infinitely closer to the end of your career than you ever are the beginning of your career, right? The average shelf life of a football player is roughly 3 to 3.5 years, okay? So if we're talking about the amount of games that's being played, 17 a year. So over the course of 3 seasons, you have the opportunity to play in 51 regular season games, okay? So if the shelf life is 3 to 3.5 years, let's call it 60-game shelf life in the National Football League, okay? So you have running backs over the course of the last 5 to 9, 10 years really starting to become devalued in the National Football League because of the amount of money that you'd have to pay them after their rookie contract comparative to what people around the league believe is the production value you'd get out of the running back. So, something that we saw the last 2 years with Saquon Barkley has been the prominent move in the National Football League. Fan base might love the running back. The running back might have the highest selling jersey in your franchise. The running back could be the best player in the league. But franchises do not care if they can get the same production, at least they believe same production, for significantly less value, or draft it in the draft. You got 4 years of that rookie deal. If you pick up the 5th-year option, you have 5. And then now the back end of that conversation is then they oftentimes aren't getting re-signed by their franchise they drafted by them. Because as you're seeing in this offseason, a franchise does not see the importance of a running back anymore. It's just the truth, okay? So now in this 2024 offseason, I am deeming this the offseason of the running back, okay? Because you should not be mad at the players for getting their bag, and you should not be mad at the players for finding guaranteed money. Because as I mentioned before, the shelf life on a team for a running back is 4 to 5 years, and the shelf life for any player in the National Football League is 3 to 3.5. So I'm sorry if I'm Saquon Barkley and I'm 27 or 28 years old. According to the running back chart, once you reach the 30 number, your career is essentially over, okay? So now you're Saquon, you're like, all right, I'm getting up there in age. I've been franchise tagged already by this franchise. They did not give me the money that they wanted, okay? So now I'm going to go test free agency, right? Why am I going to keep putting my body on the line? Why am I going to keep doing what the Giants need me to do when it's about time I get paid, because I'm the person that doesn't have the shelf life in this sport? And that goes across the board. Like, if a franchise is not going to guarantee money to a player, if a franchise is not going to pay somebody what they believe they deserve, whether you, the fan, believes they deserve it or not, is not the point. The point is the player. And you can agree and disagree. There are oftentimes times when I disagree with a player maybe taking a little bit more money at a worse team, or, right, or staying with a franchise that's devaluing them, and you're like, you're never going to win. Right? Like, it's almost like this is the time we need the break in the franchise. Okay? So right now, this is what's gone on in the offseason. Josh Jacobs is now a Green Bay Packer for 4 years, $48 million. Joe Mixon has been traded from the Bengals to the Texans. Austin Eckler is now a Washington Commander. Okay? Aaron Jones, the aforementioned Packers running back, is now a Minnesota Viking. Derrick Henry is now a Baltimore Raven, and the aforementioned Saquon Barkley is a Philadelphia Eagle. DeAndre Swift also signed with the Chicago Bears for 3 years and $24 million. A bunch of other running backs have gone off the board as well. Tony Pollard to the Titans, Devin Singletary to the Giants, and Gus Edwards to the Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, Zach Moss signed to the Bengals, and Antonio Gibson is going to the New England Patriots. Okay? So there have been a total of 11 running backs signed so far in the first 3 days of free agency in the National Football League. We're going to break down those contracts on the backside of the break, and I'm going to talk to you about why where we are going as organizations is very stupid, because I don't believe what's happening right now to the running back market is going to be sustainable. And I know that you shouldn't be listening to the fans, and you shouldn't have necessarily a care for what the people want. But when you look at some of these contract numbers, which we'll go through at the backside, and you start to break down what Saquon wanted from the Eagles or what Derrick Henry wanted from the Tennessee Titans, or who was with what team and what fan base loved them and the production they were already giving you, it's like I kind of am starting to agree with the frustration of the running backs and the fans, because I think the organizations and the GMs are really starting to mess this running back situation up. We will talk about that on the backside of the break. Plus, we got some QBs to discuss. Big week in the National Football League as we run down the stretch in the NBA and run down the stretch in the NHL as we get to the start of Major League Baseball season. This is Andrew Romanella on the Rome Show live here, 12OZSports.com, sponsored by WideWorldShop.com. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Yeah.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Welcome back into the Rome Show here on 12OZSports.com, broadcast live. I'm Andrew Romanella. You can get us on Instagram and on Twitter at the Rome Show 1 or at Coach_Romo24 on Instagram right now. We got a question poll going on here, asking the people what the best free agent signing is. So if you want to get in on the Instagram, feel free at the Rome Show 1, and you can go ahead and give us your thoughts. So here are the numbers on some of those running backs we were talking about before the break, okay? Saquon Barkley, 3 years for $37.75. Now, the important number there is that Saquon was offered $26 million guaranteed by the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? So what that means is the Eagles came $3 million guaranteed over what the Giants were offering him last year. So roughly the Giants were offering him around 23 guaranteed, and he got 26.5 guaranteed from the Eagles. Probably a little bit more money in the whole value of the contract. And in my mind, I'm saying to myself, what are you doing, New York Giants? What are you doing? And then look at Derrick Henry, okay? Derrick Henry signs with the Baltimore Ravens, the best rushing attack in the league last year, okay? Now gets the best rusher in the league over the last 5 years, okay? And I want you to think about these numbers for a really quick second. So the Tennessee Titans don't re-sign Derrick Henry, okay? They don't re-sign him. Now, they must know something. I will eat my words and come on here and say I am sorry 1,000 times over and write an apology to the Titans organization if Derrick Henry rushes for under 750 yards this year, right? Like, just has an atrocious year. Why am I saying that? Because Tony Pollard, the former Cowboys running back, signed with the Tennessee Titans for 3 years, $24 million. Well, Derrick Henry signed with the Ravens for 2 years and 16. It's like, I don't understand what's going on here. Like, if you're going to cough up 24 mil over 3 years for a running back, okay, that has been the best running back in the league for the last 4 or 5 years, and your team has had success. It's not like the Titans have been bad. Last year was their worst year in 5, and Vrabel got fired, which I don't agree with, but that's okay. And then you go sign another running back that's definitely not as good to the exact same deal, 1+ year. Why wouldn't you have just spun it around and said to yourself, okay, we're going to go get Derrick Henry. Why don't we re-sign Derrick Henry? All right. And the only thing that I could see is Tony Pollard's 27 and Derrick Henry's 30. But to me, that don't matter, because if you look at the production in the league last year, Tony Pollard ran for 1,000 yards. So it's not like we're talking about like, wow, this is the best running back in the absolute league. Like, you got to go get Tony. I think a lot of the reason why Tony Pollard was really good was because he had an awesome offensive line. Oh, but wait, Derrick Henry ran for 1,160 yards. So it's like, why? Like, I don't care about the age, right? I don't care about any. If the production right now, 4 or 5 months ago, was over 160 yards better, okay? 12 TDs for Derrick Henry, 6 for Tony Pollard, okay? To me, that 0 fumbles, by the way. Derrick Henry didn't fumble once last year. That, to me, is a very stupid decision by the Titans, because now you have a fan base that's going to be mad at your organization, also feel like there's absolutely no chance to win football games. Like, who's our quarterback? Levy? Okay, great. Now, really dynamic offense there with whatever the hell Levy and freaking Tony Pollard. No, just go re-sign the guy that's leading your team in jersey sales, that's also the best running back in the league outside of Christian McCaffrey, and is signing for the exact same amount of money that the guy you signed is. Like, I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. Like, if Derrick Henry was 38 and Tony Pollard was 26, got it. Makes so much sense. Dude's on the back nine of his career, but Derrick Henry has only proven to be the best running back in the league outside of Christian McCaffrey for the last 4 seasons. So I just don't, what am I missing, right? What am I missing that at the running back position, it only matters in certain areas? Like, I don't know. I don't understand it. And then you go watch all these other teams sign these people. Like, so you're telling me that the Raiders, who suck comparative to the Green Bay Packers over the last 5 years, think it's a good idea to let Josh Jacobs go without a quarterback? So it's like, we have $48 million over 4 years. You might not have even needed that because he's a homegrown dude. What if maybe he would have taken 4 for 40 with some good incentives to stay in Vegas? He likes Antonio Pierce. Al Davis has that money. So I'm confused. Someone needs to talk to me because I'm confused about what's going on with running backs in the National Football League. Because it's not like they're not getting signed. They're getting signed. They're getting money. But I don't understand why the team that they're finding success with, the team that the fan base loves them in, why are you even allowing that guy to go? Right? And if you look at the Baltimore Ravens, now, I do understand that they had one of the better rushing attacks because of Lamar Jackson, less because of their running backs, and more because of Lamar Jackson, okay? But if you already have the best rushing attack in the league and you didn't have Derrick Henry on your roster, wouldn't you then save that $16 million, try and re-sign Gus Edwards, who only signed for 2 years, $6.5 million with the Chargers? Wouldn't you try and re-sign him, save that roughly $10 to $12 million, and then maybe shore up the areas of your team that need to be shored up so that you stop continuing to lose before getting to the Super Bowl? That's what I would have done. If I was the Giants, I would have kept Saquon Barkley. And everyone's like, I would have signed him last year. That's the thing for me. Last year would have given Saquon his money, and this thing would have been over. And yeah, go ahead. I would love for people to disagree with me. It's not, to me, sometimes it's the numbers, sometimes it's the player, and sometimes it's both. Okay? In the Derrick Henry situation, I think it's all three encompassed. Okay? In the Saquon Barkley scenario, I just think it's one of those things where you remove him from the team, okay? The team might actually get slightly better, all right? Maybe some of that Saquon money is what they use to sign Burns, and I understand all that stuff. But Saquon has been a loyal dude to your franchise. You have screwed him this entire time. And now, because you're an idiot of a franchise, you're now going to watch Saquon Barkley in an Eagles uniform probably be everything the Giants wanted him to be coming out of the draft 5 years ago. And so sometimes you also need to protect yourself from that, right? I don't know about you. I'm not even a Giants fan, so I don't even care. But if you were a Giants fan and Saquon Barkley was to go now with the Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and win a Super Bowl, I cannot imagine how painful that would be. I can't. And Tiki Barber was giving Saquon Barkley crap. Shut up. Stop giving the running backs specifically crap when they go get their bag. Okay? You know what that means for people that might not have that slang in their vocabulary? To go get your bag is to get your money. And in the National Football League, not enough people get their bag because it's a sport where there's not enough guaranteed money, but yet the shelf life is lower than every other sport. So if I'm a running back, yeah, I'm getting my money. I know that my shelf life is 7 to 10 years in this league. I know that I'm the most devalued position in the league outside of kicker and punter, which makes no sense to me because everyone says, gotta have a good running game. Gotta be able to can't just throw the football. Okay, if that's the case, if I need a good running game, if that's the case, why would I not retain the running back on my roster that my fans are buying all of his jerseys? Why? I don't understand that. And so that's what bothers me today. Is I can't. Screw Saquon, right? Oh, Derrick Henry. No, screw the franchise. Screw the GM. Screw the ownership group that does not see the benefit in you keeping a homegrown talent that is good enough to win, that you sucked at building around. And I get it. Yeah, there are times when it's just fiscally more responsible. It is a better move to do this than to do that. And I agree. I don't disagree with the financial gain of the franchise when you franchise tag a top player. You get them for a little less on an annual value in 1 year than you would over 5 years on a contract. I get all of that stuff. But my biggest issue is when it comes down to looking at what they're signing in other places. We're not talking about Saquon getting 3 years and $60 million from the Philadelphia Eagles or $39 million guaranteed instead of $23. We're talking about $3 million. $3 million. We are not talking about an insane amount of money. We are talking about the exact same contract for Tony Pollard and Derrick Henry. Why in God's green earth would you ever get rid of the staple of your franchise in a time when you need that man? Now, if Derrick Henry walked in there and was like, I'm done with this place, I never want to play here again, that's fine. I understand all those things. But let's keep it 100 straight up. No extracurricular factors. Running back on a team, running back successful, team not wanting to pay running back, team being dumb. That's just my opinion. So I don't agree. If I'm a GM and I'm the Giants GM, I would have kept Saquon Barkley last year. I would have given him the contract last year. Okay? Because generally, earlier, you have the opportunity to actually snake. Who knows? Maybe this contract that the Eagles have gotten Saquon, right? If you give this contract to him 2 years ago, okay, going into year 3, who knows? Maybe he's exceeded this contract. Maybe the Giants are infinitely better. Maybe he's that much better, okay? So I'm probably the minority here when it comes to the running back position in the National Football League, but the way that free agency has started, I clearly know that everyone else agrees the running back matters. So why the hell are we doing this? Can we just stop pretending like we're devaluing this position? Let's stop pretending like 30 years old matters, and let's just look at the player. What does this player do for our franchise, both on the field and off the field? And can he sustain that over the course of this contract we are going to give them? And from there, we roll. But yeah, if I'm a Giants fan or I'm a Titans fan, I'm pissed, right? Like if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm like, cool, I got Zach Moss. Like the Bengals have had him the Buffalo Bills have had him for 3 years. They've done nothing. And Joe Mixon was cooking a little bit. And if you're not going to give me Joe Mixon, go get me someone else. So, very interesting, very confusing. Tomorrow, we will break down the quarterbacks. Here's a little bit of a teaser for you. Kirk Cousins is a Falcon. Russell Wilson's a Pittsburgh Steeler. Baker Mayfield stays with the Bucs on a $100 million deal. And there's a few more quarterback questions we're going to have, like what happens with Justin Fields, right? Is Trevor Lawrence and Tua Tagovailoa the guys for their respective clubs to move forward with? Can Bryce Young turn it around in Carolina? So many questions. Plus, like I said before, the National Basketball Association is down the stretch run. And we talked a lot of hockey yesterday with Rocky, so I'd like to dive into a little bit of basketball tomorrow as well. I really appreciate everybody that listens to the Rome Show every day, 7 to 7:30 in the morning on 12ozsports.com. Just a few reminders. WideWorldShop.com, promo 12ozsports. Tickets.12ozsports.com, promo code Rome. And when you go to tickets.12ozsports.com, it looks exactly like Ticketmaster. It's awesome. I use it myself. I actually just purchased myself some tickets to Kane Brown 2.5 weeks from now. And I also have tickets purchased for Luke Combs in June. So you need to do it, all right? And I think a lot of people that are country fans know those two artists. So tickets.12ozsports.com, and then the promo code there is Rome, and that will get you a discount at checkout. Don't forget to put it in. And don't forget to set your alarm so you're back with us tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on the Rome Show Live, 12ozsports.com. And, of course, we finish with telling you that the podcast is always live wherever you get your podcast. Simply just type in The Rome Show Podcast. I'm Andrew Romanella. I appreciate you all. And until tomorrow, peace.
Thank you for listening.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.